Good morning students. Now today we will proceed for the next topic, that is transfer of heat. What is transfer of heat? First of all we will study what is transfer of heat. Means to transfer heat from one person to another or to transfer heat from one place to another. मतलब क्या कि हम लोग को हीट कैसे ट्रांसफर करनी है. सपोज मैं यहाँ पे क्लास में बैठी हूँ एंड I am telling you to distribute the books. So first of all I will pass the one book to one student, then he will pass on to second students, then he will pass on to third. This way heat transfer goes on. So this way we will study about transfer of heat, which are the methods of this chapter. That is, three methods are given: conduction, convection and radiation. So for this detailed explanation is given you in this video.
Transfer of heat. The flow of heat from a body at higher temperature to another body or to another part of the same body at lower temperature is called transfer of heat. Imagine our teacher has to distribute answer sheets to the students in the class. He can do it in three ways. He can hand over the answer sheet to the first student and ask him to pass it on to the next student. The next student passes it on to the next, and so on. In this way, the last student can receive his answer sheet without actually moving from his place. The teacher may ask all the students to line up, call one student after the other to come, receive his answer sheet and go back. The teacher may throw the answer sheets directly to the students without disturbing those sitting in between. In nature, there are three distinct ways in which heat is transferred: conduction, convection, and radiation. Let us study these three modes of heat transfer in detail. Conduction. If we heat one end of a steel spoon by keeping it over a gas burner, we find that its other end also becomes hot after a while. In this case, heat is transferred from the hot end of spoon to its cold end by conduction. The transfer of heat by the process of conduction takes place only in solids. Activity 7. To show that heat travels through solids by conduction. Things needed: flat copper rod, wax, iron nails, burner. Method: we take a flat copper rod and fix some small iron nails at equal gaps on it with the help of molten wax. This copper rod, along with its iron nails, is clamped to a stand as shown in the figure. Let us heat the free end of the copper rod by keeping a burner below it. Observation: we will see that the nail nearest to the heated end of the rod falls down first, then the next, and finally the nail farthest from the flame drops off last. Conclusion: these observations can be explained as follows. The burner is placed below the free end of the copper rod. This end gets heated first, whereas the other end is cold. The heat travels gradually from the hot end of the copper rod to its colder end. It melts the wax which holds the nails. Due to this, the nails fall down one by one. From this activity, we conclude that heat is transferred from the hot end of copper rod to its colder end by the process of conduction. Activity 5. To find whether a material is a conductor or an insulator. Things needed: a beaker, steel spoon, plastic scale, pencil and divider. Some hot water. Method: we take hot water in a beaker, collect some articles such as a steel spoon, plastic scale, pencil and divider. Dip one end of each of these articles in hot water. After a few minutes, we touch the other end of each article. Observation. We observe that steel spoon and divider get hot. Both are made up of metals. They allow heat to pass through them. They are called conductors. Plastic scale and pencil do not get hot. Plastic scale is made of plastic, whereas pencil is made of wood. Both plastic and wood do not allow heat to pass through them. They are called insulators. Conclusion. So we conclude materials like plastic and wood are insulators, whereas metals are conductors. Use of good conductors of heat. The materials which are good conductors of heat are used wherever heat is to be transferred fast. For example, cooking utensils are usually made of metals like copper and aluminium, and alloys like brass and stainless steel because they are good conductors of heat. Use of poor conductors of heat or insulators. Insulating handles. Appliances like cooking pan, pressure cooker, electric iron, electric kettle, etc. are provided with wooden or bakelite plastic handles because these materials are poor conductors of heat. False ceilings. False ceilings, generally made of plaster of Paris, asbestos, or wooden plyboards, provide a layer of air between the two ceilings which keeps the room warm during winter and cool during summer. Since the air in between the two ceilings is a poor conductor of heat, it prevents the transmission of heat from either side. Convection. Most of the liquids and gases are poor conductors of heat. Therefore, they cannot be heated by conduction. Then, how are they heated? Liquids and gases are heated by another process of heat transfer called convection. The following activity will help you to understand the process of convection of heat. To show that liquids transfer heat by convection, things needed: a round bottom flask, potassium permanganate, burner, retort stand. Method: take a round bottomed flask and fill it 2/3 with water. A small crystal of potassium permanganate is dropped gently using a spatula at the bottom of this flask. This potassium permanganate crystal dissolves slowly and forms a purple colored solution around itself. Heat the water at the bottom of the flask by using a burner and observe the movement of the purple colored solution. Observation. The purple colored solution rises from the bottom of the flask up to the surface of water and then move downward near the walls of the flask. How this happens? Conclusion. When water at the bottom of flask near the flame gets heated, it expands and becomes lighter. So, hot water rises upwards and carries heat to the surface. The colder water present on the surface, being heavier, moves downwards by the sides of the flask to take the place of hot rising water towards the source of heat. After some time, this water also gets heated and rises upwards, and colder water from above comes down again. In this case, heat is transferred from hot water at the bottom of the flask near the source of heat to the cooler top by the actual movement of water itself. Thus, heat is transferred in liquids by convection.
Convection current in nature. Marina Beach, Chennai. Dhanush and his younger sister are enjoying an afternoon with their parents at Marina Beach, Chennai. How is it that there is so much breeze here at the beach? It is because of the sea breeze. In coastal areas, breeze generally blows from the sea to the land during the daytime. These sea and land breezes are actually convection currents. What do you mean by convection current? The constant movement of fluids for the transfer of heat is called convection current. What causes a sea breeze? Land absorbs heat faster than the sea. During the daytime, the land heats up more quickly than the seawater. Thus, the air above the land surface being heated expands and rises up. The cooler air above the sea surface blows towards the land to take its place. This sets up convection currents. So the cool air from the sea blowing towards the land is called sea breeze. Yes, you see, the windows of the houses in coastal areas are made to face the sea to receive the cool sea breeze. What causes the land breeze? Land loses heat faster than the sea. At night, the land cools more quickly than the seawater. Thus, the air above the sea, being warmer, rises up and the cooler air from above the land surface blows towards the sea to take its place. The cool air from the land moves towards the sea. This is called the land breeze. So, that is how the beaches are blessed with such wonderful breeze.
Radiation. We feel warm when we sit in front of an electric heater. How does the heat travel from the heater to our body? The air between us and the heater is a bad conductor of heat. Therefore, heat transfer cannot be due to conduction. The process of heat transfer cannot even be convection, because the hot air surrounding the heater will become light and rise upwards and not towards us sitting in front. If the heater is switched off, we immediately feel cold. This shows that the air around us remains cold. Thus, there must be a third process of transfer of heat in which the medium, air is the medium in this case, is not heated, and yet there is transfer of heat. This process is called radiation. We receive heat from the sun by radiation. Most of the space between the sun and the earth is vacuum. The heat from the sun reaches us traveling through vacuum. The heat energy transferred without the need of any medium is called radiant heat. Radiation is the process of transfer of heat from a hot body to a cold body without affecting the medium. Radiation needs no medium. Choice of clothes. We wear white or light-colored clothes during summer because white or light-colored clothes absorb less heat and keep us cool. On the other hand, we wear black or dark-colored clothes during winter because black or dark-colored clothes absorb more heat and keep us warm. Also, wool is a poor conductor of heat. So, air is trapped in between wool fibers and prevents the flow of heat from our body to the cold surroundings. So, we feel warm. Thermos flask. A thermos flask is a special type of vessel which keeps hot liquid hot and cold liquid cold for a long time. It is made in such a way that it reduces the loss or gain of heat by conduction, convection and radiation to a minimum level.
So today we will study about the next topic, that is convection. What is convection? that is the process of transfer of heat in a liquid or a gas by the actual movement of the particles of liquid or gas, that is called convection. Now convection means, what is a convection? That is some of the practical applications which are used for convection currents are ventilators, chimney, installation of room heaters, and these are some of the practical applications which are used in the convection current. Then we will study about that what is convection current in nature. That depends on sea breeze and land breeze. फिर the next topic is radiation. That radiation means what? That is the process of transfer of heat from hot into a cold body without affecting the medium. कि हॉट एंड से कोल्ड एंड तक हम लोग को वो मीडियम को अफेक्ट ना हो, ऐसे प्रोसेस जो होता है ट्रांसफर ऑफ हीट का, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज रेडिएशन. एंड ड्यू टू दिस सम ऑफ द एप्लीकेशंस ऑफ रेडिएशंस are also given in the following videos. And last topic, that is thermoflask. What is thermoflask? That is the thermos which we use in our homes also. That is used to keep the hot things hot and cold things cold. So I hope you understood this. So students, we have studied the following topics in this chapter. What is heat? That is a form of energy which causes the sensation of hotness or coldness. उसके बाद हमने क्या पढ़ा था? Effects of heat that causes expansion in solid, liquid and gaseous. Then we have studied about the hotness and coldness. In that it comes temperature. Temperature also includes thermometer. Thermometer में भी दो types के पढ़े थे. That is clinical thermometer and laboratory thermometer. They are the types of thermometers which are used. Then we have studied how to use clinical thermometer, कि clinical thermometer को हम कैसे use करते हैं. After that we have studied about the precautions to be taken while using a thermometer. Reading thermometer करना होता है तब हम लोग को कौन से precautions ध्यान में रखने हैं वो भी हम लोगों ने पढ़. Then we have studied about the transfer of heat. Transfer of heat, in that we have studied about three methods, that is conduction, convection and radiation. And lastly we have studied about the thermoflask, that is to keep hot things hot and cold things cold, that is called as a thermoflask. Thank you students, thank you, hope you have understood very well. Thank you very much.